Good evening, everybody. It's a beautiful 21st of January, 2025. Come to the Crusty podcast. Oh, the outcry and the aftermath of Donald Trump's inauguration as the 47th president, and the speculation and the fear and the worry that our so-called quote unquote leaders have that's coming for us in the immediate future. Oh my God. Does it look good? Is it bad? Who knows, ladies and gentlemen? Anyway, listener view discretion will be advised because it will swear, smoke cigarettes, make funny faces, and make fun of the idiocy we call our government. All that more come on the Crusty podcast. Please stick around.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on political, social, economic issues and life. Here's Crusty.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Setting up the slaughter, or better yet, the arrogant sheep are done. Hi, everybody. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. If you like and hear what you see, click like, subscribe, share this podcast, all over social media platforms. Do not be shy, everybody. Just let me know what's on your mind. Speak your mind, all that good stuff. Give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a comment, everything there. And make sure you're on the tube, on the Yankee Tango. Click that notification bell to make sure you're notified every time new content comes your way, ladies and gentlemen. So like the title card said, setting up for a slaughter. So Donald Trump is president once again, okay? And prior to his inauguration, he made a statement to Canadian leaders that he's going to charge 25% tariff on all goods coming into the US of A because of our fentanyl issues, because of our lackluster immigration policies, because how we secure the borders. And he also made a point of talking about our defense too, ladies and gentlemen. And I hate to say it. Well, I don't really hate to say it. But there's been a lot of us that spent time in the service that we've talked to certain leaders and talked to politicians. And I sure as hell know I did at my campaign when I was running for office there back in 2021, that we had to smarten up when it comes to defense spending. Now, I've talked to some leaders. I even had a couple of questions I gave to a politician that was on the Northern Perspective show there, an ex-MP. Now, as I say in the title, the arrogant sheep are done. We have to get rid of this arrogance where Canadians think they're superior to anything or anyone, okay? And I hate to say it, but our healthcare system is not superior. I hate to say it, our military system is not superior. I hate to say it, our politics suck, okay? They really, really suck. You want to know why they suck? Because people go by on looks and charm and charisma. They don't go by on sheer fucking balls and gratitude. You know what I mean? They don't have the comprehension for that. Now, I'm not saying Canadians are stupid because we've all been talked down to by every leader that's sitting in Parliament as we speak. But now we're at a time of crisis and the ass clowns can't get their shit together to negotiate a proper deal with Mr. Trump. Donald Trump is big business. He's always been big business. He has been a representative of big business since the mid 80s. The Art of the Deal, the big book that he had, right? He's been the butt of people's jokes. He's been the inspiration for people's lifestyles. He's had cameos in many movies. He's done Saturday Night Live as a host and as a guest, right? And we've seen the dynamic social shift when he was elected the first time. Okay, how people treated him, how people didn't like him. Oh, he's such an arrogant. Oh, he's such a big R word. Oh, he's such a big misogynist. Oh, he's a xenophobe. And now there are so many people gallivanting and praising the man. Okay, and good. The United States deserves good leadership. Our country deserves good leadership. Now, what are we seeing as an example of our leadership, ladies and gentlemen? What are we seeing? Yeah. We're not seeing leadership. We're seeing whiny little bitches and bastards. Okay. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it because from my time in the military, We were told all the time how the procurement process works and how we can't do this and we can't do that and we can't put this together, can't put that together, all because there's so many people sitting on the top of everything, counting the beans, going through papers. A lot of bureaucrats, a lot of administrators. They want this and they want that. They want the best value for a Canadian dollar. And what kind of value has come out in the past 20 years? I've worked with some great leaders. I've worked with some great people. I've worked for some great people. I've also worked with and not for some not so great people, ladies and gentlemen, but that's life. You get that in any job or any profession you get into. However, when you look at the top of the hierarchy of any kind of organization, doesn't matter if it's a government office or a corporate office, okay, there are people calling the shots that should benefit you. Benefit the worker, benefit the employee, benefit the administrator, benefit the chain of command. How has our chain of command dealt with this crisis over the past 30 years? Not very fucking well, right? I could have very well spent all day digging up old articles from the past in regards to military spending in this country. It hasn't done well. And that's partially to blame on senior leadership, partially to blame on elected officials, and partially to blame on some of the voters in this country. Now, this may be a hard truth for some of you to watch and to listen to. And if you're a first-time listener and viewer of this podcast, brace up. Canada fucked up. Okay? Canada has fucked up now since the better part of 2015. Okay? Especially when it comes to looking after the important things here. How much money do Canadians have in the bank to go on a holiday, let's say this summer? How many Canadians have the opportunity to get a better job or to go to school to get better training for a better job to make some more money? Now, that's not because of poor spending habits on my part or your part or your girlfriend or your boyfriend's or your lover's part. This is because of the people we elected. Now, regardless of who you voted for in the last federal election or who you voted for in 2015, okay, the way the system works is that the popular vote gets ahead. So you think. However, the minority government prevailed in 2019 and in 2021, and they still had the power to make these decisions that have affected you and I. They're all guilty of making our life be more expensive. Now, when I look at a guy like Pierre Poilievre, who has stood up to the common sense mantra, axe the tax, whatever slogan you want to use, and I've seen rebuttals about, oh my God, how dare we trust a guy who uses the 3-word slogan? Oh my goodness, heaven forbid. I would sooner use axe the tax rather than sunny fucking ways any day, Buckeyes. Okay? Axe the tax, bring it home kind of thing. Very catchy slogan. But Poilievre submitted a letter to bring back Parliament to get things done because this is kind of an emergency here. We've got a leader down the States who's ready to rock and roll, ready to get things on the go, ready to start fucking packing the punches where they're deserved. And our government needs a good punch, good kick, good slap around. They need some fucking humility. And now the way I see him on mainstream media, sitting there talking the big game and, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do dollar for dollar tariffs, said Justin Trudeau, Mr. Sock Puppet himself. And, we're going to make sure that, options are on the table. Didn't Yagmeet Singh say that a few weeks back? Options on the table too. So they're all taking the same fucking narrative from the same playbook. Okay. So it goes to show that they got no fucking balls, ladies and gentlemen. No balls at all. So maybe it's about time that Canadians get together and start giving it to them.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And you're back, ladies and gentlemen, episode 330. The arrogant sheep are done, or better known as setting up for the slaughter. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you once again to everyone who come out to my last episode too. Been getting some more views, some more traction, some more positive feedback. So thank you, all of you wonderful people out there. You guys are awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate the concern and the likes. I got a couple people from South Africa who have said hello. And I'm like, thank you very much. That's great. Sorry, a bit gassy, ladies and gentlemen. Had some spice in my chicken tonight. Oh, yes, a bit of chicken spice. But it's good to see. And they too have witnessed and heard some things all the way to South Africa about Justin Trudeau and his party and his inept attitudes and his buffoonery. So it's quite flattering. So thank you once again to those people in South Africa that listened to my show recently. Thank you. And hola, gracias to the couple of Mexicans that have weighed in too. So thank you very much. And I noticed when I go to my Podbean page, I'm seeing more and more Americans download my show. So thank you, brothers and sisters from the South. You know, our brothers and sisters from other mothers. Thank you once again. But I'm digressing here. If you want to mess with big business, okay, that's up to you, the individual. But when it comes to Canada, who has relied so much on the United States, we have, okay, especially when it comes to defense. Like I remember when I was a teenager and I was at a crossroads. Where was I doing? I was into punk rock, had a big mohawk and like my bag noise. And I just wasn't sure with my life. Where am I going to go? Where am I going to do? And I remember my mother was so dead against me joining the military because of her old 1960s hippie adage bullshit. Now, I'm not dissing the hippies. There's some hippies out there that made a big fucking difference. They made some great music, made some valid points, changed some of the rules, made things easier for a lot of other people. But in the same sense, I'm going to take that old 60s adage and I want to throw it back in the faces of some of the Gen Xers and especially the boomers out there that failed to realize that if we're going to wave the flag of this country, you know, that flag you see behind me there, then you got to stand on guard for thee, like the anthem says. And you can't do it by saying, oh, we're peacekeepers. We don't need this. Oh, the Arctic. Oh, we're not worried about that. Oh, that's okay. That's, you know, they'll get along. We'll let someone else look after it. That is the arrogance which I'm promoting to you. Oh, we have a great healthcare system. We did. Where does it sit in the world stage when it comes to socialized medicine? Okay, I don't mean socialized medicine as when people say it's free healthcare, because we both know it's not fucking free. A lot of our taxes come out to pay for these healthcare systems. Okay, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I like to see a Canada where you can take responsibility for a faulty system, fix it, and then still give people a choice whether they want to use the government system or go out and buy their own private health insurance, which can be done in Canada. Okay. Now I'm lucky because I did 20 years of service. So my health care is looked after somewhat. I think about 85% of it. Okay. So I got to pay some dividend or whatever, but it's not a big deal. But what gets me is that you get these people that still who hang around the government offices on the provincial and the federal side. Okay. And they say, oh, it's free. No, it's not fucking free. It is not free. Any service that has been brought to you by this government comes out of your tax dollars, whether it's municipal services, provincial services, or federal services. Okay. Comes out of the Canadian taxpayers' mouth and out of their wallets. Okay. Now I'm going to play something from Danielle Smith here, who speaks very passionately about what is going on in our country. And it's just quite scary. She's the only leader, ladies and gentlemen, that has actually went down to the States to talk with Americans about things. And when was the last time our prime minister did that? You know, we went down to Mar-a-Lago there back in December to basically, you know, plead in whatever fashion they were doing. It was just pathetic, a pathetic display of power. Not really worth the time. I'm pretty sure that Mr. Trump didn't really give a shit about it either. He just merely told him what was going to happen and what we're going to do. And in a very, very stern fashion, he made it very clear. So I'm going to play this for you from my Facebook page, ladies and gentlemen. And I want you all to decide for yourself, you know, how it's going to be and how it's going to work. Okay. So you decide. Just make sure the volume's up and you can hear it.
About why we find ourselves in the situation that we're in today. It lands 100% at the feet of Justin Trudeau, who even just a few weeks ago gave a speech where he thought it was an affront to women that Kamala Harris didn't win. We're in a trade negotiation with a brand new administration, and we have a prime minister who keeps on poking his finger in the eye of the current administration and has damaged that relationship. So if there's a failure, it lands at his feet, which is why I'm counting down the days to when he's gone and we can have a reset. It's 47 days to go, and I hope he doesn't continue torching the relationship in the meantime. All I can do is try to repair and build relationships that should have been repaired and built over the last 4 years. That is what we do by having our office in Washington. We have good relationships with people on both sides of the aisle. Let's be super clear about why we find ourselves in the situation that we're in today. It lands 100% at the feet of Justin.
So that basically sums it up, ladies and gentlemen. You know, the prime minister did insult Trump. So did Chrystia Freeland. So did half the Liberal cabinet back in 2017 and 2018, you know, calling him two-faced and all that. And Trump's response was the same thing, two-faced, right? And regardless if you agree with certain American policies, whether you agree with Canadian policies or not, there's a common interest that we both have as both nations. You know, regardless of what you felt about the Iraqi war in 2003, or how you felt about Afghanistan, or how you felt about Vietnam, right? There's a common interest back and forth. I can tell you stories about some of the individuals I talked to that happen to be Canadian that joined the American services during those years, during the Vietnam War. And some of the stories they were willing to share with me was just, wow, priceless, breathtaking. And yet there's always going to be a handful of Americans that are going to ask us stupid questions about Canada. And believe it or not, there's Canadians that ask stupid questions about the Americans too. So there's a give and take, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that's fine. But that's a good thing about brotherhood and sisterhood. We share the values when it comes to democracy. We share the values when it comes to common courtesy and freedom to choose, freedom to be, freedom of expression. And if you actually watch the inauguration speech from Donald Trump, where he basically said male and female, right? No more of this race baiting stuff, more of the merit stuff. That's a good thing. Okay. Now I've had people say, but Crusty, you're a libertarian. You should support this. You should support that. You should support people's identities. Well, I support any individual that chooses to live their life their way. But I don't support an individual that tells me what to say. You know what I mean? I don't support an individual that demands they should be addressed a certain way, you know, and then try to tell me they cannot function if I don't say these magic words. To individuals like that, I just say, fuck off, right? But you're free to do that if you want it. You're free to be what you want. Unfortunately, we have a government in this country that does not want us to think that way, that does not want us to speak our minds properly, that does not want us to mingle and talk about things that are important, you know, like the economy, like our security, and like our borders, and like the issues. And Instagram has been filled today with regards of incidents on certain incidents, big words, Crusty, incidents involving people of other groups and involving other origins. Now, you've heard me say this in the show numerous times, ladies and gentlemen. I was not raised to be a bigot, nor was I raised to be a racist or a xenophobe. I was raised to be a good man. And I encourage every individual out there, male and female, note I said male and female, not this or that, every person, to get out there and just try to be decent to people. But call out this shit when you see it. It's that simple. Even if it is some individual dropping their drawers on the street, taking a dump, call it out. Doesn't matter if it's on the street. Doesn't matter if it's in a public park. Doesn't matter if it's on a beach or by a river. Call it out. Right? Like there's been reports of people driving down the highway and then stopping by the side of the road and throwing their garbage in the ditch. Like there's just stupid little things like that. And the more we call out that behavior, I think the easier it's going to be too. Right? You're not going to be taking anyone's freedom or taking their identity away. You know, you might hurt their feelings briefly, but, you know, like in Forrest Gump, stupid is as stupid does, right? Take your trash to a proper trash can. If you got to go poopy, use a bathroom or bury it or something, you know, simple things like that. And the reason we're in the position we're at right now, it's because of that Canadian arrogance. The arrogant sheep are done, ladies and gentlemen. We are done, right? It's times I've caught myself thinking that, oh, in Canada, we can do this. But then after seeing everything that has happened, especially the past 6 years, in regards to our dollar, our defense spending, our immigration policies, and how the government, with impunity, went out of their way to screw over the truckers. Something to think about, right? But that's fine. That's okay. Because you can protest this, you can protest that, and stand by this and stand by that in Canada. But if you do something that the government disagrees with, oh my God, there's hell to pay, right? No more. The arrogance is done. You, my wonderful audience, and especially my Canadian audience out there, let's quit this arrogance. Let's quit this bullshit. Let's quit this garbage. Let's quit the excuses. And let's start asking these leaders the harder questions. Let's get Parliament up and running. Enough of this shit. Call your MPs. Let them know, hey, get back to work. We got things to do here. Because if you don't get to work and try to get something done about this, that business is going to fail. This business over here is going to fail. I'm going to have to pay some more for gasoline. I'm going to have to pay some more for these goods. What are you doing about it? Besides looking at your $15,000 you get a month or $12,000 you get a month for representing the people, right? Let's snap out of this whole party thing and start representing the constituents. Let's snap out of this whole conglomerate on who's blue, who's red, who's orange, who's baby blue, who's green. Let's talk about who's red over there. Who is red for the blood of this country? Who is red for the people that have fallen before and laid down their lives? Who is red for you? Who is red for me? Who is red for my wife? Who is red for my family, your family, etc., etc., etc.? Right? If any lesson comes out of these threats, and they are threats, they're not physical or harmful threats, but it's going to hurt our dollar. Then it's going to be up to us, the people, the Canadian people, all colors and creeds, all genders, all sexual orientations, to get up there and do something about it. Because the so-called comfort that people have gotten used to over the past decades in the name of saying, I'm a Canadian when it's convenient, are done. You're going to have to be Canadian now. And if you love this country, you're going to have to stand up for it one way or the other, whether it's through the power of the old pen, le mati a stylo, or through your fucking heart. It's about showing up, people. Showing up doing the good thing. And I understand there's a lot of people out there that do watch this channel that work all the time, and they work so fucking hard. Hey, brothers and sisters, you and me both. Right? I get 4 days off, and then I got to go work 10 days straight, and then another 4 days off, and then 10 days straight. And during those 4 days, that's where I get to do my admin, make the podcast. I sometimes make the podcast when I can during my work schedule because I'm not so tired sometimes. But there's days I'm just fucking beat. And then I make this money, put it in the bank, pay my bills, and what have I got left? And now with higher inflation and the cost of living going up, and we all feel the sting, ladies and gentlemen, we're not getting ahead. Why? Because of our arrogant leaders. And that's all of them, too. Not just a few, not just this party or that party, but there's a lot of special interests in all parties of this country. They're looking out for number one, themselves. It's time we start looking out for ourselves and standing on guard for thee once again, ladies and gentlemen. Anyhow, I've been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 21st of January, 2025. As always, I wish good things for you all out there. We will overcome this. We will triumphant. We will beat the deadline, hopefully, by the 1st of February. Who knows is going to come up with a plan. Maybe Daniel Smith might. Maybe Scott Moe of Saskatchewan might. I don't know. Doug Ford, I don't trust him. fancy socks, pepper pants, potato puppet, whatever you want to call him, shithead. I don't trust him either. I don't trust Karina Gold. I don't trust Christy Freeland. I don't trust anybody in the Liberal caucus whatsoever to do the good thing. Because they had 9 years to do it and they blew it. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, the arrogant sheep, we're done. We're done. And it's time we start fucking becoming the wolves once again. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, I'm in Crusty Canuck once again on this 21st of January, 2025. I will do my best to get probably another vids on the fly up this week, or maybe another podcast, depending on my schedule. Anyhow, I'll do what I can for you all out there. Thank you once again to the beautiful comments and the thumbs up and likes. Keep those thumbs up. Keep the likes going. Double check your subscriptions and everything too. And if you feel like donating, links are in the description. And do what you can to help in these trying times. I know weather has gotten a bit warmer in our area. However, stand on guard for thee. Look after your friends, loved ones, and just try to do your best to be kind and be decent to people, but do what's right. Do the right thing, ladies and gentlemen. Like I say, humanity and merit wins the day. Take care, and I'll see you next time, everybody. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
This has been another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast.
On guard for thee, ladies and gentlemen. What say you? Cheers.